There's an old Monty Python movie called The Meaning of Life, and right at the middle of it, they cut away from the film and they have a thing that says, "Welcome to the middle of the film." And there's this guy who he's got like sleeves twice the length of his arm, and he has this absurd voice where he says, "I wonder where the fish did go," and it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But he's got a fish tank in the background, and as soon as I hit the record button, I kind of realized that I do too, and that I might as well acknowledge the connection for any of you who may have seen The Meaning of Life. Anyway, um, these are Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and you can kind of see over here, I'm kind of doing this on a mirror image, that's one of the snails that's in there. Um, my mother visited at one point and decided his name was Gary. If anybody's got a suggestion for the other snail's name, you ought to let me know. Anyway, I hope everything the other day made sense, or in the other lesson made sense as you were starting to look at the idea that John believed that God and love were one and the same. Uh, Today we have to unpack that a little bit more and figure out a little bit more about what it means. As you've read in the assignment already, I've asked you to watch a Futurama episode. The Futurama episode is available readily on Hulu and I think Disney Plus as well. I haven't confirmed that because I canceled my Disney Plus as soon as I finished watching Baby Yoda. So it's also available through the on-campus, not on campus. Yes, on campus Google link that I gave you. That is a copy that I ripped off of my own DVD, so I feel like it's not really a copyright violation. Don't share it too broadly. Anyway, here's a video talking a little bit about why we're actually going to watch Futurama. This episode does a really brilliant job of teasing out our understanding of space, time, and potential further dimensions. There we go, right? So we're going into fifth and sixth dimensions here in order to make sense of God. Here goes. All right. From math class, you readily know the first two dimensions. This is the xy plane, Cartesian graph, other things we could call it. You didn't think I would go too mathematical here, and I promise yet that I will not. Of course, we have no problem as people, as thinkers, imagining something existing as a full plane, extending infinitely in all directions. Well, in all two-dimensional directions, rather. The xy plane. Such that x and y have no real impact on the thing itself. We could say that the thing transcends x and y. Well, we also know that things go beyond x and y. Indeed, there can be a z, and we can readily imagine a thing existing in all three dimensions, right? That's not really difficult to do. You think about space, or you think about the inside of your own mind, which, has, it's contained physically in the space of your skull, but ultimately you can imagine something that's thousands of miles away, thousands of light years away. You can probably imagine like a specific shelf in a cabin in Maine or something like that. That's insane that a sort of, 7-inch box at the top of your head can imagine readily a space that is so far away. We could say that our imaginations can transcend all three spatial dimensions. What about our friend time? Well, we can imagine something existing in all times, too. We can also imagine that if we went beyond that to additional dimensions, that we could imagine things existing in all along the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, whatever. Well, what of something existing in parallel dimensions that we don't even really perceive? Or what of something having the ability to exist beyond those dimensions, such that those dimensions not only don't affect it, but aren't even relevant categories? That is what Futurama is going to try to tease out, and it's also what the Bible, what John is going to try to assign to our understanding of God. There's another video that I'm going to ask you to watch after you watch the Futurama episode, in which I'm going to try to unpack it a little bit further. Real quick, there are 2 points that I think are important to make. He uses the professor is going to use the term orthogonal, which is spelled pretty much how it sounds. It means at right angles. Basically, in the spatial dimensions, it's easy enough for us to imagine something at a right angle. If you get to higher level math, you'll find out that it's possible to have right angles in like the 6th and 7th dimension. Don't worry about it too much. It's supposed to be complex, that's why they referred to it. Another quick point is that the episode does, just as a heads up to anybody whom this might upset, have an attempted suicide in it. Well, he how do we say? He dies by suicide, but then he comes back to life. So I think it's important that you know that in advance because it's a little bit of a gruesome scene. If that's going to be an issue, let me know, and we'll come up with something else you can watch. Good luck with this, and I will see you in the other video once you're done with it. Thanks, guys. Peace.